Australian Outdoor Man. Today we're going to do beef jerky. Mate, I love it. It's great. Nice and easy, and it's quite cheap to do as well. So I use two different cuts of meat. I use a top side, beef top side, and also a corn silver side, which is that's just straight from Coles. So that's about, what do we got here, kilo for $10. So you can't go wrong, doing too bad. We'll run through this quickly. So I use the salt reduced stuff as well, just so it's not too strong. It's not too bad, this stuff. I usually just give it a wipe. That's just to get the blood off it. Stops it slipping around too much. As you can see, there's very minimal fat in there, which is that's what you're looking for, a cut of beef with minimal fat. Any fat you do get, I just like to trim it off straight up, which the dog loves that too, which is great. So the trick with your beef, you've got a grain in your beef, you want to cut against your grain. So that's the best way to do it. I usually like this just to chop him in half, just like that. And you got the flat sides there, and so then you can sort of go ahead and chop that. So what I'll do, I'll chop this up to about roughly 5mm in thickness, and then I'll show you how to marinate it, what I use for a marinade, and how to dehydrate it. So there's a couple of ways. I've got an upright smoker. I usually put some hickory chunks in there and like to smoke it for about 15 minutes to 30 minutes, my beef jerky, and that just goes onto a cake rack. And then make sure there's no water or moisture in the bowl as well when you do your smoking. You want to get your moisture out and dehydrate this meat. Another way of doing it is in your oven. If you set your oven, fan forced oven, down to about sort of the roughly 60 degrees, the lowest setting the better. Put your meat, once it's been cut and marinated for 24 hours, lay your meat onto your drying racks, put them in the oven, crack the door open, and I usually just put a wooden spoon in there, and that just lets your air flow. Or you can do it, you can hang them up. We've done it outside as well. While we've been camping, we actually cut our beef, we marinate it, we close up our tent, and we use a tent just like a dehydrator. So we just run fishing line with our hooks, put them on our fishing line, run them from corner to corner in the tent, and then put our meat on there. Make sure you got obviously no flies. On a nice hot summer's day, you can dehydrate your meat like that as well. We'll crack on, we'll cut this up, and then I'll show you guys how to do the sauce, my marinade, and then we should be right to taste it. Alrighty, here we go, we'll chop it up. Alrighty, now that we've chopped it all up, all you can do, have a look at the thickness. What I usually like to do is just cut them into strips. So I sort of just go back through, and just a nice little cut like that. Just cutting up into strips. Doesn't take too long at all. I've got also just a little deli slicer. So I think they're about $200. I picked mine up for, and you can actually set that to a thickness. So you can actually set that, I think goes up to 15mm thick. So they're quite good too. What I like to do is partly freeze my meat. Usually you get about sort of 4 hours in the freezer, and that'll sort of firm the meat up enough where you can put that through your deli slicer and get some good pieces of jerky like that. So like I said, the trick is just making sure that your meat doesn't have any fat through it. It's not like when you're cooking it and it actually renders down. You find that your fat won't dehydrate. You can use venison as well. I've actually used bacon, so I've made bacon jerky. Just the eye fillet, straight up. There's no fat in there. You marinate that. It does take a while to marinate. just because the bacon won't actually pick up your marinade too good. But yeah, I've done that, and people absolutely love the bacon jerky, which is very yummy. We'd usually be doing this outside, but unfortunately the weather, we've had about 3-4 days worth of rain now, so it's quite wet outside. The trick is, you just get your strips, get them cut, get them marinated. I like to marinate minimum 24 hours, mind you. Sometimes you can't get to it to put in the dehydrator. Longer the better. I've never had a drama. I've had some stuff marinate for 5 days. It's never been a drama. Alrighty, so there we go. We've got a kilo there of our silver side, unsalted, and I'll quickly just show you that now, and then we'll crack on with the sauce. Alright, cheers. Alrighty, so you've seen all the beef. We'll get on with the sauce. I usually just like to do a bit of garlic with mine. So if you just give that a bit of a chop up. I also use fresh garlic. You can use the garlic mince. You can use the powder as well. I usually put a bit of that in there. But I find that the fresh garlic pretty good. So a little trick I do, I put my, just a big bag, those Cliplock bags, just straight into a bowl. It saves a bit of washing up too, which is good. So I like to do all my marinade, my meat into those plastic bags, and you just put them in the fridge, zip lock them up, get the air out, and away you go, which is good. So you've got 2 garlic cloves in there. I like to go a bit of barbecue sauce. Everyone loves a bit of barbecue sauce as well, which is excellent. Your salt and pepper. So all this you do to taste. This one I usually put chilli in it. I've got a couple batches on at the moment of the Carolina Reaper chili in there, which is good. So salt, pepper, barbecue sauce, a little bit of paprika as well, which is good. So paprika in there as well. Your Worcestershire sauce. So I usually go about 200 mils of that in there. Like I said, you do it all to taste. A little bit of garlic powder as well. Onion powder. So that's a good one to put in there, your onion powder. So with your quantities, I usually do about a teaspoon of each. Got a soya sauce, which I use the salt reduced one. So I usually do a good 2 teaspoons of that, and also some brown sugar. So a tablespoon brown sugar in there. And like I said, I usually do put chili in it. This one's for the kids, so I'll be keeping the chili out of this one. Now if you don't have a smoker and you still like that taste, you can buy this stuff. So it's a Stubbs Hickory Liquid Smoke. This stuff is absolutely brilliant, just if you want to get that taste of that type of smoky flavour through your beef. So it's very strong. So I usually do 5 caps per kilo, which that's roughly, I find, strong enough. That should give you quite a good flavour through that. Like I said, you can add your tomato sauce. When I do my teriyaki beef jerky, I actually buy the bottles of the marinade, the teriyaki sauce itself. So any of those sauces, you can sort of jump on there. With your marinade, you've got to be careful. Obviously, if you add honey, anything like that, what it can actually do is coat the beef. It puts a coating over it, so then it can't dehydrate. The air can't get to it. So in that case, any of your marinade, if it's quite thick, so if I put too much barbecue sauce or tomato sauce or any sauce and it makes it too thick, you can always just add just a little bit of water. So that will sort of thin that marinade down, and it'll penetrate better into the beef, and it won't give that coating so it doesn't dehydrate. A lot of people have is they marinate their beef with all this sticky sauce and everything, and it covers it, which is great, looks good, but when it goes to dehydrating, they can't get right into the centre and dehydrate the meat, and that's when you get your bacteria build up, and you find you get a lot of pretty much mould growing on your beef if it's not done properly. So we'll put this in. I'll show you how we do it. It's nice and simple. Straight into your bag. So like I said, there's a kilo of there. When you do your jerky and you're thinking about your weights, so there we go. We've got it into our little clip lock bag here. Give it a good mix around. What I usually do is try and get the air out of it, or what you can out of it. Just like that. And then all you're doing is mixing it around. So you give that a good mix. You can also obviously just write what it is on front up here on the label. So you can write there what is your ingredients and even the date that you've actually marinated. So if it does sit in there for a while, you can sort of come back and know when to take that out. But it is very simple just to make beef jerky. Like I said, it's very high in protein, low in fat. It's good for a snack just to take away if you're bushwalking or out camping. And it tastes bloody good with beer as well. We'll jump in. I'll show you the dehydrator after this, and show you how to put it in. We'll go through that. And we can make some jerky and we'll have a taste. But like I said, this here now goes in the fridge for 24 hours. We keep that in there, we pull that out straight onto the dehydrator, give it about 4 to 8 hours depending on your temperature, and then you're good to eat. Alright guys, we'll jump onto the dehydrator and we'll have a look. Alrighty, so that stuff has been marinating for a few hours now. This is the top side I've got, which this is the teriyaki and chili. So I'll show you, this is the dehydrator. I've only got the 4 trays going. So I pretty much rotate the trays around with this one. This is only a cheap eBay one. But you get a rough idea of what the sort of jerky looks like. Trick with in these dehydrators, make sure you've got plenty of gap. Just a couple mil gap around each bit of beef. Good thing is, every half hour I change the trays over as well. I'll put the bottom to the top, and also I just turn the meat, so it's only a matter of just flipping it over. And I find that these aren't too bad. Like I said, these 60 degrees takes me about 8 hours all up, which isn't too bad. I'll show you the final product of this. So I've actually made 3 kilos of top side up for a buddy of mine. He pretty much tells me what he wants, what taste he likes, and then yeah, we do that, vacuum seal it up in about 100 grams per pouch, and then send it down to him for him and his mates. Alrighty, we'll show you the finished product. Alright guys, well that's the final product, as you can see. So there's quite a fair bit there. Tips, get a good cut of beef, no fat, marinade not too thick so it covers your meat. marinate minimum 24 hours. That's my opinion. Just gets that taste, penetrates right into that beef, which is good. Just go low and slow with the stuff as well. You don't want to turn your dehydrators right up, try and burn them. You've got to be very patient making the jerky. And make sure you get it to a good dryness as well, so it's not too wet. The wetter it is, the more chance it does have to grow bacteria, mold and fungi on it as well. Like I said, I'll put a couple pictures in there of the vacuum sealed with the beef jerky, and I can keep that vacuum sealed. I've had that for over a month, just sitting outside. The big tip as well with your jerky, don't put it in your package in your plastic Ziploc bags or your vacuum sealed bags while it's still hot. So you want to get it out, dry it out on a cooling rack, get it cooled down so there's no heat in there at all, and then pack it up. If you have any type of moisture problems, that's when you'll get your fungi and your bacteria growing on it as well. So you don't want to be growing mold on, onto your beef and ruin all that hard work. But that's about it really. Any questions or comments, guys, just chuck them in there in the comments. Hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Make sure everyone takes care and look after yourself. Cheers for watching Australian Outdoor Man.